Hi, this is Carolyn from Holistic Campus, and today I'm talking with Anniston Riekstins. And Anniston works with numerology and numerical name optimizations. Do I have that right, Anniston?
You do have it right. Yes.
Oh, good. So, can you talk a little bit about that? I think so many people are fascinated by numerology, but tell us more.
Well, I also am fascinated by numerology. I'm a big believer that when you have a life's purpose, it generally chooses you versus you choosing it. And it definitely, I would say, chose me. From the minute I started reading about, and I've always been a spiritual seeker, but from the minute I was introduced to numerology, I was hooked. I just thought, oh my gosh, I finally have a tangible way to get answers in a very, untangible spiritual world. And so numerology is really all about the energy of numbers. Now, most people, that might be more of a generalization. A lot of people have heard of numerology, just like they've heard of astrology. They might not know the information behind it, but it is becoming more commonly known. Most people know about numerology in the Western world, and it's a great way to learn about your personality, your life purpose, things that you might, strengths that you might have, weaknesses that you might have. And so that's what I studied for about 10 years. And then I was introduced to a more specialized form of numerology that is actually based on the Hebrew alphabet. And that's what I practice now. Both forms are equally, I think, as beneficial. What I love about what I do is that it is focused solely on your birth name. And through looking at your birth name, analyzing the numerical equivalent, translating it into Hebrew, I'm able to then to look at the different energies that you have surrounding you that are affecting your life. And so that's what I love about it. And I think this form of numerology in particular that's based on the Hebrew alphabet, it's a very pure form of numerology. I think for those people that are looking for something a little bit deeper, something that really is coming from more of a soul level, they will find, and what I find my clients will comment on is like, wow, that was really deep. And that really touched me on a deep level. And it answered a lot of questions that I've had. So, that's one of the reasons why I was really drawn to this form of numerology. Now, you had mentioned the numerical name, like optimization, and that's something that is a little bit different. And, I think it's so interesting because inherently we've all known our names are important. Why else would we stress so much when we're trying to find a name for our child or even a name for a pet? We know how important it is because it's something that it sticks with you for the rest of your life. And that you tell everyone who you are and you become known as that name. What we don't realize is that names are energy, and just like everything else in this world, are attractive, and they attract certain like energies to them. And so some people have never liked their name. They've never felt aligned with their name. And then when we actually look into the numerology of their name, they usually see why. They'll say, okay, wow, that was kind of a tough energy. And they might want to make a change. And it's been happening since, before the beginning of time. People have been changing their name. In fact, in other cultures, when someone gets sick or falls on hard times, they're generally, a priest or a religious figure will come to the home and say, now here is your new name, because they understand that by giving a new name, it's like almost kind of like getting a fresh start, and it'll give you a better chance at starting fresh and leaving behind the old energy that maybe you've already grown out of a little bit and into a new energy.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I wonder if the Catholicism, the confirmation names or any of that has anything to do with that.
It does. It does. And in Native, I love, probably one of my favorite comparisons is in a lot of Native American cultures. It's very commonplace for somebody to receive multiple names in a lifetime. So they might start, as one name, and then once they've grown into adolescence and their parents and their tribe get a better feel for their energy and how they've grown, they'll say, wow, this person has really grown out of that energy. Let's give them a new name to match that new, more expansive energy. They believe that some people are like lakes and they don't change very much and they kind of stay the same most of their life. Some people are like rivers, and rivers will narrow and they'll widen and they'll go fast and they'll go slow, and the energy is constantly changing. And so to be able to allow somebody to change with that energy as needed. And I do find that a lot of people that are on a spiritual path, a spiritual journey, do expand, and they, you know, their energy does expand to a point where a lot of them have a purpose and they have something that they're here to do, whether they're light workers or they're here to help other people or be in a place of service, but they feel like they're almost being held back a little bit by something, and they don't really know what it is. And sometimes it's just tweaking their name, changing their middle name, changing the spelling of their name, or giving them a completely new name. And it creates tremendous transformation and change in their lives.
Isn't that amazing? Boy, well, numbers don't lie when you think about it. They're concrete solid. So now this obviously from a personal level or a business level.
Yeah. Yes. Business is also just like a person has a name, a business name is also creative. Sound creates. And so what you've chosen to name your business can be very indicative of what the experience, the success, the flow of the business, what your employees will experience there, the type of employees you're going to attract, everything. It's very, very important. So when I look, when I'm working with someone in their business, I first start with their legal name. So we'll look at, okay, what was the legal name, whether it be an LLC or corporation, and then we look at the trading name, and then we look at the website name and the email addresses, and then I'll even go on to looking at their marketing, taglines, everything like that, to make sure it all flows and that it has, you know, the best kind of energy in there, energy that's going to attract people, not repel people, energy that's going to be, which is always a good thing when you're in a business, energy that is going to make people feel good when they're whether they're perusing your website page or they're actually walking into your brick and mortar business, that they'll have this great feeling like, wow, like when you walk into somebody's house, you're like, wow, this house just feels good. It feels good to be here. You know, homes as well have an energy, their address, you know, so it really is amazing. What just in a name, what changing that or tweaking it or finding out that you have the perfect name, you know, is very validating for someone that's really, you know, putting their finances and their life on the line to start a business.
Wow, that's amazing. And the power behind that is just, wow. So from the standpoint of someone coming to visit Anniston to book a session or whatever, they're not coming from a place of something's wrong. It could be, I just want to find out more, I would think.
Absolutely. It doesn't have to be something's wrong in my life. I don't think, I'm a big believer that there's no one right way. I think there's a lot of ways. When you start to ask the questions, you're usually ready for the answer. And what I specifically love about this work is that it will allow you to, when you're really ready to start looking at yourself and say, okay, you know what? I want to live the best life I possibly can. I'm not 100% sure maybe what I'm here for, what specific lessons I'm here to learn. And while it can sometimes be, some people are like, oh, I don't want to know that. Okay, well, if you don't want to know that yet, then you're not ready for it. But what's great about when you do is that it changes your perspective on everything. It really helps you get out of that victim mentality of, well, I feel this way because that person treats me this way, or if only I could find the right man and I would feel this way. But what you don't realize is that, you know, when you come, you know, what I believe is that we all are here in this amazing school of life, and that we've all chosen a different curriculum. Nobody gets off scot-free. Everybody has some lessons to learn, and everyone, all the relationships in our life are just here to help facilitate that for us. So if you have that person, you know, that's really giving you a hard time, whether it be a husband, a child, or a boss, you can hopefully through this work start to look at it a little bit differently and think, okay, I recognize this. I recognize this aspect of what I'm meant to be learning. So instead of then running away from it, you can face it and say, I don't have to, I can complete this lesson. And when you do, it becomes your gold. It becomes what you teach other people. And so that's, in my opinion, one of the most, I think, the largest or the biggest benefit of this work is awareness. It's giving you a chance to change your perspective so that you feel more empowered to take charge of your life and not feel like you're at the mercy of everybody else surrounding you and these experiences that keep coming to you. You can start getting the answers of why they're coming to you. I think people could go to counseling for probably 15 years and never really land on that. They might always kind of put Band-Aids on certain situations rather than actually saying, okay, where's the root of where this is coming from? And how do I turn it off? Right. Or how do I move past it? And so the beauty of this is once you identify these aspects, even just, on this website with all of these healers, I mean, there are people that are very qualified then to take you to that next step if you like and say, okay, this is my, Anniston and I went through, and this is my challenge specifically that I'm working with. And they can say, okay, well, let's really help you work through that. And let's help you do it quickly, but with grace and ease and in a way that's really built for you. So I look at it as a really good foundation that anyone could benefit. I have clients that are just starting out on their spiritual journey, and I have clients that have been spiritual practitioners for 30 years that just, needed or wanted to see, okay, where am I on the scope of what I had intended for myself? Have I completed what I set out to do? And what can I do to move past this one aspect or to really reach that ultimate goal of what I want? So.
Oh, that's wonderful. I mean, they say knowledge is power, but I think awareness is really powerful.
It's very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And you got people that are just starting the journey, which I love that. So I love that when people start to awaken to it all. And as you say, there's no going back once you start to get it.
No. And once you open this book and you start to look at, it really does change everything. It changed my world. It changed the way I look at everything. And now everyone around me, I feel like my relationships have gotten better. I'm more successful at whatever I set my mind to. Those limits I used to have, I've worked past. And it really took me just becoming aware of what it was.
Yay. So I know you and I are going to do a little bit of work together, but before we do that, is there anything else you wanted to share?
I think that, obviously this is work that can benefit you on a personal level. This is work that can benefit you on a relationship level, and it's work that can benefit you from a business perspective. And I guess I would like to say that I'm someone that has been in business various forms for a long time. I'm currently still in business, and what I realized, for those of you that are interested in looking into more of the business aspect of this, is that, it all stops and starts with who you are, no matter where you are, whether you're at home or you're sitting in your office or you're going on a walk. I mean, there you will be. You bring spirituality with you. And I do feel a passion and a calling for helping people as well, that are in a business and better understanding employee dynamics and better understanding the energies and of a business and how you can benefit every aspect of it, and not just financially, but from an overall energy standpoint. So I would say, for those of you that are, I would love to talk with you more about it, because I do know that even in the numerology world, bridging this into business is still very much a pioneering effort. It definitely has not gone mainstream, but it's something that I've experienced firsthand and helped many clients experience firsthand, and it's very impactful and exciting.
Awesome. Well, perfect. So we will see you in a minute, and thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Carolyn. Bye.